All right, let me get myself together real quick. All right. What is good? What is good? What is good? Ladies and gentlemen, of course, you know who it is. Yours truly, Dr. Mike, back again, once again, with another classic, and I mean extremely classic video for you guys today. But if this is your first time watching the Dr. Mike TV video, you're definitely going to want to subscribe to the channel after this. Check me out on all of my social media platforms listed in the link in the description area below, as well as the ebooks. Guys, don't sleep on these ebooks, man. Everybody's been going ham over these shits over the last couple of days, and it's crazy. I think the holiday sales for my book have gone up, so I owe that to you guys. Don't know what's been going on lately, but it seems like a lot of people are grabbing the prescription as the holiday gift. So, because Dr. Mike is the channel that keeps on giving, by all means, we're going ham on this one, and I appreciate you guys. Now, I don't think I'm going to rip this one off like a Band-Aid. I think this one's going to be a slow pull. So what I need you guys to do is to sit back, relax, grab your popcorn like my man Pedro does, turn off your cell phones unless you're using your cell phone to actually watch this video, and enjoy the show, because I'm about to put in that work today. Mike about to serve some shit up that I didn't see coming. You're gonna make me go into the depths of my thought process as it deals with dealing with Filipina women. You're gonna make me go a little bit deeper than I've gone before, and I fucking love it. So thank you to the person who inspired this particular video today. No names need to be said, but his story shall be told. So your Filipina girlfriend has a male best friend and promiscuous girlfriends. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it, all right? So, I got an email the other day. You know, the guy commences to addressing the good doctor in such a way. He's like, hey, Dr. Mike, how's it going? You know, I love the channel. Thank you very much. He said, I watch you constantly, and, you know, I could use some advice. He says, I met a girl while I was on vacation in the Philippines about 2 or 3 or 4 months ago. You know, we kind of hit it off automatically. He's like, yeah, we hit it off automatically. Everything was going good. We constantly talked. We were texting all the time. Everything was going good. One thing led to another. We ended up hooking up. We ended up being, you know, really close and things like that. And, you know, we still continue to connect with one another, even though I am back in the United States. So basically, he ended up getting some. And he ended up, you know, basically falling in love. And, you know, he's genuinely feeling like this is the right one for him. And at this particular moment, I'm going to stop the show, and I'm going to tell you this right here. From this point on, what I'm about to tell you is the main reason why many of you men are blinded by the box. I repeat, from what I'm probably going to tell you from this point on is going to stress or make you identify why many men who go to the Philippines and deal with Filipina women, why they are blinded by the box. Now, I see a lot of you looking at me kind of funny, even though I can't really see you. A lot of you are looking at me kind of funny, like, what in the world does Dr. Mike mean by blinded by the box? Some of you are probably catching on. I do not feel the need to explain it, but if I need to explain it, I will explain it in the chat or in the comment section below. But as the story develops, I think you'll understand where I am coming from, but I do not want to go into detail. So basically, he continues on with this letter like, yeah, he said, when I first met her, she was always, time out, back up. Let me make one thing clear, because Dr. Mike just forgot something very important that he wanted to stress. It does not make a woman, Filipina specifically, a whore or anything like that, should she choose to hook up with you within the first few days or weeks of meeting you. I repeat, I honestly, cold-heartedly feel that it does not make a woman a bad woman if she chooses to hook up with you within the first few days or weeks of meeting you. It does not make her a bad person. Personally, for me, she's just the type of woman that knows what she wants. She wanted the vitamin D, she got the vitamin D. So there is nothing that makes her a bad person. Now, if she's working the scene, that's a little bit different. But if she's just a young lady that you casually have conversations with, and things happen to go from point A to point B relatively quickly, does not make her a bad girl, okay? Wanted to make that abundantly clear because I think he ended up getting with her relatively quickly. You know, that's why he was able to fall head over heels. Noted. All right, back to the story. So he's like, yeah, when I first met her, I knew that she had a guy best friend. Stop the show. Time out. She has a male best friend. It gets better. He's like, but I wasn't threatened by the male best friend because to me, he looked as if he was gay. We're gonna put a question mark on that. Now, this is one thing about men that I've always noticed, especially when it comes to foreigners dealing with Filipinas in the Philippines. A lot of us men are not threatened by Filipino women hanging out with Filipino men for probably one of two reasons. Number one, as a male, foreigner male, you feel like you bring more to the table, right? You feel like, I got the money, I probably got the swag, I probably got everything that, you know, this woman would never cheat on me. Just a thought process, just a mindset. Work with me here, Mike's building. The second reason would be maybe you size the person up and you're like, man, I'm not threatened by this guy because he doesn't look like anybody that would ever possibly be able to take my woman from me. Maybe not, you know, from a financial form, you're thinking you're better than him, but he just doesn't look better than you in your eyes, okay? So that's just another note that I want you guys to take down. A lot of men aren't threatened because they feel as if men that come from the Philippines don't threaten them because they don't have enough money, they don't have more money than them, and they may not look as good as them. But again, this is just the foreigner mindset, and we got to kind of break down that barrier and break down that wall and that thought process. But again, he felt like the guy was gay. Now, I said, what made you think that this guy was gay? He just said he had feminine attributes, you know, stuff like that. So what was funny is he was like, yeah, every time I would FaceTime my girlfriend, I'm going to put that in air quotes, girlfriend, the guy, the so-called gay friend was always in the background. So every single time he would call or FaceTime his girl, that guy was always there. We'll just call him Ronnie. We'll say Ronnie's too weird. Let's just say his name is yeah, we'll just say Ronnie or something like that. Ronnie is the gay best friend's name, okay? So every time he called, Ronnie was always around. So every time he would call, Ronnie would be close to her, and he would always say, hey, Ronnie, how are you? You know, being nice to him, and Ronnie would say, hey, back to him, right? So that was kind of the relationship. He kind of understood that this guy was around before he came around, mind you. She's always had him as a male best friend. Ronnie was always there before him, so for her to be around him all the time didn't really mean anything to him. But then here comes the kicker. Here's where things start to get skittish and sketchy with the whole entire situation. He was like, one day I was scrolling through my girl's Facebook page, you know, and I saw that she had a friend with her. It was one of her good girlfriends, I guess. So he was like, oh, let me click on the girlfriend's page, because you know how when you tag somebody in a Facebook photo, you can just click her and it'll go directly to her profile page, right? So he did, and her profile wasn't blocked and it wasn't private or anything like that, so he was able to scroll through the pictures. And the things that he saw in that girl's profile kind of took him back. Now, many of you would probably expect that his young lady was in these pictures, you know, posing in provocative sexual poses with the friend. Quite the contrary. It was just the girl and herself really in some suggestive, provocative poses in her particular pictures. So he was a little bit sketchy. And then he saw a group photo and it was his girlfriend, and like 3 of her friends. Then he clicked on all 3 of those pictures, the other 2 profiles, and he saw the exact same thing. So he started getting a little nervous because he's like, yo, man, I kind of feel like my girl be hanging around some hoes, is what he said. Pardon my language, don't kill the good doctor. These were his words verbatim. He said, I kind of feel like my girl be hanging around some hoes. But instead of saying the H word, because I feel like that is not appropriate, even though I did say whores earlier, pardon me, we'll just call them promiscuous women. Now again, these women, they don't really work the bar scene, but they work the club scene. The dance clubs, going out, having fun, drinking and stuff like that. That's kind of their vibe, because you can see that in the photos. So he's over here having a moment like, yo, man, I'm really sketchy because these are the girls that my girlfriend chooses to hang out with. So he's starting to get some question marks and have some anxiety about it. And then I said, you know what, man, do me one favor. Do me one favor. I said, out of all of the profiles that you picked, or all of the profiles that you saw, go through their friends list if you can and see how many of the friends in her friends list are guys. Now, these are on the friends page. How many of them are guys, number 1, and how many of them are foreign guys, number 2. Do that for me. So he did it. And he realized that on those girls' pages, the majority of the friends were male on those pages, and also probably about half of the male population on those particular profiles were foreign or foreigners. You know, somebody with a different, name that is non-Filipino. And then I said, okay, if you haven't already, do the same for your girl's page. And he went through it and she was like, nah, many of my girl's friends on her page are just girls. And then, there were maybe 1 or 2 foreigners on the girls' page. And I was like, okay, you got 2 options here. You have 2 options. If you feeling petty and you feeling like you're threatened at this moment, you can message the guys that you saw that were foreigners and see what they have to say about the young lady, if they dated them or not. That's an option. I'm not telling you to do so. Please don't. I kind of feel like that's stupid. But that's only if you're feeling threatened. If you are, you should probably move on. I encourage people to do that. Or just let it go. And just, basically you can either come up front and ask her if, who she's talking to somebody else or something like that. You can be honest. There's nothing wrong with asking a woman if she's talking to somebody else. 9 times out of 10, she gonna say no. But if you want to do your research because you don't want to take her word as bond, I feel like you should do so. All right. But again, if you have to do all that work, seems like it's a little bit too much of a headache to actually go through the process in itself. So I recommend you guys just let it go if the relationship is something that you're feeling skittish about, or if you're feeling hesitant about going forward because of the company that she keeps. All right. And that's kind of what this is all about. Dealing with women and understanding the company that they keep. If your girl hangs around the promiscuous types, or you can see through Facebook pages and other social media outlets that the young lady that she is hanging out with is kind of a little bit flirtatious by nature, or maybe she kind of has this vibe about her that you're just not comfortable with, you can't tell your girl not to hang out with her, okay? You just can't do that, because that was her friend before you even came around. One of 2 things are going to happen, because she won't drop her friends probably just like that. But if you are a consistency in her life, I'll tell you this. If you are a consistency in her life, she'll naturally probably stop messing with them. Like, I'm telling you, I've known plenty of girls to drop their friends because they really weren't their friends in the first place. Let's be honest. I've known plenty of women, when they get a man, they don't give 2 shits about they good girlfriends. The ones that were their good girlfriends, they gone. They finally got that vitamin D in their life, baby, so they don't need them no more, right? But they'll go back to their friends if you and her just happen to break up or separate, or you're going through something, that would be the only time that a girl would ever need her friends. Now, as far as the gay friend that we mentioned earlier, this was interesting. Come to find out, he really wasn't gay. He found the guy's Facebook page through his girl's Facebook, friend of a friend, of course. Come to find out, dude's over here kissing on girls and stuff like that. You know how you do the flirtatious kissing, like sometimes when two girls kiss, you know, kind of barely put their, you know, lips together sometimes and stuff like that. Hey, we're in the 21st century now, so that shit's like normal. It's normal for people to be in same-sex relationships, so it's not a big thing. It's not taboo or anything. But come across this guy's page and he's kissing on other girls and stuff like that. Matter of fact, dude's even holding hands with a chick, kind of cozying up to her. So then from that point on, he kind of really started getting in his feelings. You know, come on, man, you're in a long distance relationship after meeting somebody for 3 months, and you know, you fall head over heels and all of this stuff, and you know, you're just questioning everything about her, even though that's kind of ass backwards, because you kind of expect the woman to do that. Question the relationship and all of that stuff with long distance relationships, but he's the one doing you know, the roles are reversed in this particular situation. So I try to explain to him, I'm like, he did all of this before he talked to me, of course. So I try to explain to him, you're the man, okay? You're the man in the relationship. Start fucking acting like one. I had to tell him. That's why I didn't give the man's name. I said, you are the man in the relationship, so you need to start acting like the man in the relationship. Coming at your girl all sideways about feeling a certain kind of way because she has a guy best friend, or because her girlfriends have a promiscuous lifestyle. She gonna choose to hang out who she wants to hang out with. Same as you. You're going to hang out with who you want to hang out with. Would you want your girl to tell you to stop hanging out with certain people just because she has a certain feeling about them? Because girls will do that. I know a guy who basically has his balls chopped off and sitting at the top of a refrigerator because his girl has basically emasculated him in front of his friends. I've seen it. You don't want to know what that's like. My man can't even go out and enjoy a drink with his buddies because his girlfriend has to either always be there, or she tells him that he's not allowed to go out. And if he chooses to go out, she throws a tantrum. And I told him about that. And I'm like, this is not what you want in your life. All right? You don't want your life to be controlled with emotions. Wise man once said, shout out to my boy, what's my man name? Danny Gordon. Danny, I love you for this one. Danny says that when you're in the beginning stages of the relationship, normally it is the man that leads with logic and the woman that leads with emotion. But when a man falls in love, when a man is in love with the female, 9 times out of 10, because you know that is my favorite statistic, 9 times out of 10, the man starts to lead with emotion, and then the woman starts to be a little bit more logical and methodical with her approach in the relationship. So once you give up that control, you're pretty much screwed. I tried to convince the guy in the email that I told you about to just let it go. I mean, you got yours. What did you really lose? You understand? That's kind of how I like people to think about it. Whenever you have to sever ties with a young lady, if you choose to, always think about what you got and what you're going to take an L on. You understand? If it's financials, you just got to take that L and move on. All right? If you're so scared because she happens to have these types of guys hanging around her, or the types of women that are hanging around her have a lot of foreigner guys on the hook, or, you know, they're choosing to go out and stuff like that, I'm like, you just got to let it go. But I said, did you ever see her in a picture with any of these girls out in the club? He was like, no. I said, did you ever see her, you know, dressing a certain kind of way that made you feel uncomfortable? He said, no. I said, did you ever see her kissing up on this guy, the supposed gay guy, in any pictures of any way, shape, or form? He said, no. Now, again, what I've noticed about women is that if they have these pictures and this is truly who they are as individuals, they don't really tend to hide it very much. Now, there's always the high probability or the Hail Mary that the young lady may have a secondary Facebook page that hides all of her promiscuous activity. But In this case, I kind of felt like everything was on the up and up. He knew where she worked. He kind of knew her real name and stuff like that. So I kind of said, you know, you kind of got to give the girl the benefit of the doubt. But I do have an interest in understanding how you guys feel about this situation. With a girl that has a guy best friend who may or may not be gay, and also with promiscuous girlfriends. How would you feel about that? I'm pretty sure many of you guys have already made your comments and you've already come to your conclusions at this particular moment in time, but I'm definitely wanting to know, how would you accept it? Or how would you let it ride? If your girlfriend has promiscuous girlfriends and also a guy best friend. Now, I knew a guy who was dating a girl with a guy best friend. Outside of this particular email, he didn't give two shits, man. And I loved his approach to the entire situation. His approach was classic. And this is an approach that I kind of recommend a lot of guys take to any relationship. And many of you may have already said this or you already got it in your mind. But he was like, man, if she leaves me, I don't care. I know what I got out of the relationship. Okay, so I spent a couple of bucks to do this. I spent a couple of bucks to do that. At the end of the day, I accomplished really what I wanted in the relationship. I got mines. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna sit back, relax, and let the relationship unfold as it does. If she wants to cry about leaving me tomorrow, I'll tell her she can go. If she wants to have a conniption fit and she wants to sit around and boo-hoo because I choose to go out with my friends, I'm still gonna go out with my friends. If she's there when I get back, then I know she just talking that shit, and if she's gone, nothing I can do about it. You understand? So a man who approaches a situation like that, yes, at the end of the day, it may make some guys look like a jackass or a donkey's butt. But at the end of the day, sometimes that's just the mentality that you need to bring to the relationship. Somebody said this, the person who cares less usually has the upper hand in a relationship. I do agree with that. I do agree. The person who cares less usually has the upper hand in the relationship. And it sucks. But sometimes you just have to care less in order to gain more, if that makes sense. So to my man who sent me this email, I encourage you to look at all aspects of your relationship. Where it is as it stands, it's fairly fresh. You guys have only known each other roughly 4 to 6 months, and all rushing into shit like this is absolutely crazy. You need to take time and you need to be a man about your shit. I'll tell you right now, you need to be a man about your shit. You need to man the fuck up and grow some hearts and grow some nuts, grow some balls, grow some mangoes, whatever it takes for you to have the upper hand in your relationship. All right? A lot of people will say a lot of things to convince you otherwise. But I'm just telling you from the way that I see it, man. From things that have happened before in the past and things that will continue to happen if you allow the situation to gravitate towards jealousy and anger and things like that with that young lady. You're putting yourself in a situation that's going to get sticky. You're putting yourself in a situation that could really end up bad for you and making you look like a fool and a clown. I don't know about you, but that's not a good look for any man. Looking like a clown, looking like a fool. Alright? So again, I just had to bring that one to the table because I'm just having fun with it. It allowed me to stretch my imagination on things. It allowed me to talk about situations from an in-depth perspective. It also allowed me to think about how would I personally feel if my girlfriend, not my current situation, but if my girlfriend had promiscuous friends and, you know, had a guy best friend. It made me think about how I personally would deal with the situation. To be honest with you, I wouldn't care. I really wouldn't. Because if it's really your girl, now I understand that they're in a long distance relationship and stuff, but if she's spending most of her time Skyping with you, talking to you, Facebooking with you and things like that, then you're the one occupying her time, not the promiscuous friend and the guy friend, you know. But hey, to each their own. Definitely want to hear what you guys got to say about that one. I think the slow pull is officially over. Hope it didn't hurt too much. And with that being said, the good doctor is officially out. Alis nako paalam, which means we are going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Mahal kita. Mabuhay. Peace.